Hello, Captains. This is the Doctor. Welcome to some more Star Trek Online news. In the last video, I published a video about the upcoming Artifacts update. As you can see right here, Star Trek Online Agents of Yesterday Artifacts, coming October 25th. This is an update to the Agents of Yesterday expansion and should hopefully make the game feel more like Agents of Yesterday was a big expansion. Whole lot of new things coming on that update that I'm very much looking forward to. If you would like to hear about all those updates and what's coming, go watch my previous video. I'll put a link up top. You can check that out. In today's little news update here for Star Trek Online, this is not a huge news update. This is very small, just a couple of things to go over that have been announced so far, and some exciting things, actually. There's been a lot of chatter about this in the chat of Star Trek Online, and I thought, well, I had to come here to the news, check it out for myself, and report on it, because apparently a lot of people are interested in some of this stuff. First thing is we will go over this Steam Runner bundle that is currently happening. Basically, a couple of new ships that they have released for the game. However, they're pretty benign because one is a Tier 1 ship and one is a Tier 5 ship. So they're not exactly, a brand new Tier 6 ship to enjoy it in-game or anything like that. And what looks like to be a model update for these ships and maybe a new console. It says here, we're excited to announce the release of our Steam Runner bundle in the C-Store for 2,500 Zen. The bundle includes the following starships: the Blockade Runner Escort Tier 1 and the Blockade Runner Escort Retrofit Tier 5. With this release, we took the opportunity to update the model of both versions of the Steam Runner. The updated model is more detailed and accurate to the ship's appearance in canon. Visit the ship tailor and apply the Steam Runner preset to see the updated model. As before, there are two versions to choose from, one with impulse engines attached to the rear pylons, and one with the engines mounted in the back of the ship's saucer. So there's going to be the regular Tier 1 version of this ship, and it says here, the Blockade Runner Escort Steam Runner class has been around since the late 24th century, but due to its reliability and effectiveness is still in limited use today. The Steam Runner class saw significant action in the Battle of Sector 001 against the Borg, as well as countless battles and sorties during the Dominion War. Simply put, the Steam Runner is fast, agile, and tough. So it's a Tier 1 ship, lieutenant to fly it, 11,000 hull, 200 crew, 2 fore, 1 aft, 2 ensign tactical, 1 ensign engineering, 1 ensign science, 2 tactical console, 1 engineering, 1 science. Turns really well, plus 10 power to weapons, and it has a resonance cascade modulator console. So as a Tier 1 starship, it does have a unique console, and it can load dual cannons. And then you have the retrofitted version of this ship, which is a Tier 5 starship. This is the Vice Admiral starship. Hull strength 34,500, 4 fore weapons, 3 aft, 1 lieutenant commander tactical, 1 commander tactical, 2 lieutenant engineering, and 1 ensign science, 4 tactical console slots, 4 engineering, 2 science. 16 degrees per second, plus 15 to power to weapons, and can load cannons. So these are, they are what they are, a Tier 1 and a Tier 5 ship. And then, of course, the unique module here, modulator. I was trying to say console, and it came out module instead, because I was reading modulator right here. The Resonance Cascade Modulator allows you to enhance your team's shields for a limited duration, eliminating bleed-through from normal attacks and decreasing damage sustained by the team's shields. So there you go, a unique console that should help you in teams, but again, it is a Tier 5 starship, not Tier 6. So what's the dealio here? Why a Steam Runner bundle now? I don't know a lot about the Steam Runner. Not a very knowledgeable person about this class of ship. I think it has been in this game before as a bundle or something. I do remember somewhere in Star Trek Online's past hearing about the Steam Runner, but I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it. It's not really a ship that interested me, and it still isn't. but maybe it will interest some. My theories for why it's getting a visual update right now and this bundle is maybe, perhaps, it is part of what is coming up in the Artifacts update. Maybe we will see the Steam Runner play a role in the new featured episode or the new featured episode series, or maybe in K13 and dealing with that. Who knows? But it just seems like they wouldn't go to this much trouble to give a visual appearance update and this whole bundle in the C-Store if it didn't play a part in something upcoming. Like they needed better, like maybe it may just simply be a background role. Like maybe it's just a background ship in a mission or something. But that gave them the opportunity to go ahead and update it visually, so forth. That's what I'm thinking. Got no idea, have no idea. Don't know why that's important now. Anyway, I wanted to point that out. But let's go to the more interesting thing for this lockbox, or for this upcoming lockbox, is the fact that there is a new lockbox. A new Infinity lockbox has been introduced into the game, and it is available now. It is in the game. However, it's limited. A limited time only. It's going to be there for 1 week until October 25th. So you only have until October 25th to try out this Infinity lockbox. Now, what's cool about this Infinity lockbox, and this is where all the chatter was coming from in the chat, is that there is some new Cardassian and Dominion ships. A lot of people were talking about this new Cardassian Tier 6 Keldon that we're going to get. So let's go into this. Prior to the release of our next major update, the Infinity Lockbox will return for a brief run. The special lockbox containing prizes from nearly all previously retired lockboxes will be available again for just 1 week, starting after maintenance on October 13th and ending on October 25th. During this time, enemies defeated on both ground and space maps will have a small chance of dropping these prizes. Along with all the prizes previously offered in the debut appearance of the Infinity Lockbox, additional prizes originally seen in the Nakul Lockbox have been added to the drop tables. So this includes the Nakul Tadari Raider Tier 6, the Console Universal Plasma Wave, personal space traits, ground traits, kit modules, duty officers, and chronoplasma weapons. So basically the Nakul Lockbox has been integrated into this new one for a chance of those items if you wish. In addition to these added items, we're excited to announce the inclusion of new Tier 6 versions of a few of our previously Tier 5 lockbox starships. Each of these new vessels will be replacing their Tier 5 counterparts in the contents of the Infinity Lockbox. So these are replacing the Tier 5 ships. We've got a Cardassian Keldon cruiser, Tier 6. Finally, a Tier 6 Keldon. This is, of course, a cruiser. We already know that without even reading it. Probably going to be disruptor based, probably going to use the spiral phaser or disruptor lance kind of weapons, because they had that already previously, spiral disruptors and all that. So probably going to pick up on that here. So let's read about it. Originally built for the fearsome Obsidian Order in 2371, the Keldon class cruiser has become a long-range serving mainstay of the Cardassian fleet. Considered superior to the Galler class, it is armed with a potent variant of its classic weapon system, the Spiral Wave Disruptor Lance. So there you go. This starship features a Lieutenant Engineering / Intel Bridge Officer Station and Lieutenant Commander Universal / Intel Bridge Officer Station. So this is going to have specialized bridge officer seating, but it's going to be Intel seating, which I find a little odd. I would think on a ship like this, you would might want to see a commander bridge or a command bridge officer seating, the command specialist. But it looks like they're going the Intel specialist route, which is a little interesting. I would have liked to maybe have seen one Intel and one command. I think command powers would be really good with this cruiser, as they typically are. Required rank Rear Admiral, blah, blah, blah. Hull strength is 50,000 at level 60. A shield modifier of 1.3, 4 forward and 4 aft weapons. 1 Lieutenant Commander Tactical, 1 Lieutenant Engineering / Intel, 1 Commander Engineering, so definitely a Commander Cruiser ship, 1 Ensign Science, 1 Lieutenant Commander Universal Intel. So 2 Intel officer seatings. Again, very interesting. I might have made one of those a Command officer seating. But anyway, 3 tactical slots, 5 engineering, and 3 science. 10 degrees per second, so it's not the fastest turner, plus 10 to weapon and shield power, the universal spiral wave disruptor lance, and the starship ability package, of course, and we get a starship trait that's called Insidious Tactics, and a full cruiser command array on this thing. So there's the phaser lance. The Cardassian Keldon comes equipped with a Spiral Wave Disruptor Lance Universal Console. Activating this ability will deal very heavy disruptor damage in a narrow cylinder. Affected enemies will also have their damage resistance significantly reduced and have a single random subsystem knocked offline for a brief period. And the console provides a passive bonus to disruptor directed energy damage and reduces the recharge time of Intel Bridge Officer abilities. So there you go. So that's the console there. And so this is definitely going to be a disruptor build, obviously. Insidious Tactics Starship Trait. While this trait is slotted, activating Aceton Beam Surgical Strikes or Torpedo Transport Warhead will grant a boost to critical hit chance and critical hit severity, and the buff stacks up to 3 times. Now this is a good starship trait. However, the abilities you'll have to use to activate it are either Aceton Beam, Surgical Strikes, or Torpedo Transport Warhead. Now, a lot of people don't really use Aceton Beam much anymore. So this could make Aceton Beam more useful, or people could just still bypass it and go with other abilities like Surgical Strikes or Torpedo Transport Warhead. Now, given those abilities, like Surgical Strikes and so forth, that's where I would have thought maybe this would have a command bridge officer seating. Those would go hand in hand. But again, it doesn't. However, the trait does sound very good here because it's a boost to critical chance and, more important, critical severity, and it can stack up to 3 times. So this could be a hard-hitting ship if you use those abilities, of course, to buff your critical chance and severity. So that's kind of cool, but you have to use those abilities to do it with. So that's definitely going to be a disruptor build. You're definitely going to want to go with that here. And I guess you're going to want to make sure to get either Surgical Strikes, Torpedo Transport Warhead, or Aceton Beam so you can activate the Starship trait. And that's going to be your build. You're going to have to design your build around that. But a Tier 6 Keldon, a lot of people will be excited about that. The Spiral Wave Disruptors. The Cardassian Keldon cruiser comes equipped with 4 Spiral Wave Disruptor space weapons. Owning this starship gives you the ability to purchase additional Spiral Wave Disruptors from the Dilithium store. Now, one question I have about this is, are those weapons on the ship going to be upgradable? For example, the Herald ships, the Vomph and the Quas, they come with Herald anti-proton weapons on the ship. However, they are Mark 10 commons, and you cannot upgrade them. Absolutely no upgrade option on the Herald anti-proton weapons. Can't be upgraded. Okay? From the ships, at least. If you have the ships. So if this ship comes with its own Spiral Wave Disruptor from the ship, are they going to be upgradable, or are they not going to be upgradable like the Herald ships? That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about there. If they're not upgradable, then people are going to choose to use other type of disruptor weapons. Because obviously they're going to want their Mark 14 epic weapons and not going to settle with Mark 10 commons or whatever it comes with. So we'll have to see how that pans out. But we're getting some Dominion ships too. 1 Cardassian ship, and it looks like 2 Dominion ships here. Or maybe more than that. No, maybe 3. Well, at least... Let's see, a Jem'Hadar Dreadnought carrier. I guess 2. A massive, powerful warship in its own right, the Dreadnought carrier fields wings of deadly Jem'Hadar fighters as well. The enhanced Dominion command interface present on this great vessel provides tactical data on enemy targets to allied vessels. The starship features a Lieutenant Tactical / Command Bridge Officer Station and a Lieutenant Commander Engineering / Command Bridge Officer Station. So I guess there's where our Command Bridge Officers are. The Jem'Hadar Dreadnought carrier has a pair of hangar bays equipped with Jem'Hadar fighters. These fighters are equipped with Polaron pulse cannons, Polaron beam arrays, and the directed energy modulation ability. So this is going to be a Polaron build. That kind of makes sense. We have 60,000 hull at level 60. That's higher than the Keldon. A shield modifier of 1.15. That's lower than the Keldon. 4, 4, and 3 aft weapons. That's less than the Keldon. The Keldon had 4, 4, and 4 aft. Right? Yes. 4, 4, and 4 aft. So that is less on this ship. This has 1 Lieutenant Tactical Command, 1 Commander Tactical. So there you go. This is a Commander Tactical escorty type ship, even though it's not an escort, it's a dreadnought, but still, it's a warship. It's got a Commander Tactical. 1 Lieutenant Commander Engineering Command, and 1 Ensign Science, 1 Lieutenant Commander Universal. 4 Tactical, 5 Engineering, 2 Science. Pretty heavy on the engineering, actually. It's only got 4 Tactical, but 5 Engineering console slots. So I guess it's kind of a tanky escort. Not really an escort. Tanky dreadnought. Tanky dreadnought warship. 6 degrees per second. Turn rate, pretty slow. Plus 10 to weapon power and plus 10 to aux power. Aux power, interesting on this ship. But I guess that is for the recharge time of the fighters. It has the Enhanced Dominion Command Interface. It's got 2 hangar bays, so that makes sense of the reduction to recharge time with the upped auxiliary. It's got Starship Mastery Package. It's got Dominion Coordination as a starship trait. So here's the command interface. The Enhanced Dominion Command Interface allows you to analyze a target's weak points and broadcast that information to your allies. This temporarily decreases the target's defense and damage resistance, as well as highlighting a specific vulnerable system. If your target suffers enough damage while their system is vulnerable, that system will be knocked offline. This console provides a passive bonus to accuracy and turn rate. This console may be equipped in any console slot, blah, blah, blah. Let's read about the trait. While this trait is slotted, activating Beam Overload, Surgical Strikes, and Cannon Rapid Fire will provide an increase in damage to all nearby hangar pets, but the buff does not stack. So an ability that will increase your damage of your hangar pets. Makes sense because this thing's got 2 hangar bays, so we can actually utilize that here. It doesn't say ally here. It says to all nearby hangar pets, so I'm guessing it is also other allies as well, your other teammates' hangar pets as well, if they are, I guess, in the area of effect of this ability. Probably have to be within an area of effect for that to happen. Interesting, though, that Cannon Rapid Fire activates this trait, because this is a starship you would not want to use cannons on. I certainly know I would not. Too slow to move, too slow to turn. Would not be using cannons on this thing. I would definitely make it a beam ship. So that ability is going to be useless to me, but Surgical Strikes or Beam Overload, that's what you're going to have to rely on to activate the starship trait. So Beam Overload or Surgical Strikes, or both. And obviously Polaron. You want Polaron damage all the way on this ship, and I'm guessing the next one too. Jem'Hadar Heavy Escort Tier 6. The mid-sized vessel packs a considerable punch, backed by its complement of fighters. Often deployed in a support capacity, the Heavy Escort Carrier Tier 6 utilizes the Enhanced Dominion Coordination Protocol, enhancing the combat performance of allied ships. This starship features a Lieutenant Engineering/Intel Bridge Officer seat and a Lieutenant Commander Universal Pilot seat. Ooh, so finally a hybrid here, an Intel seating and a pilot seating. Quite nice. I wish they would do that more often, actually. The Jem'Hadar Heavy Escort Carrier has a single hangar bay equipped with Jem'Hadar fighters, so just one hangar bay. These fighters are equipped with Polaron pulse cannons, Polaron beam rays, and the directed energy modulation ability. So again, Polaron setup all the way here. A 51,000 hull at level 60, so almost Keldon levels, or a little bit, I guess 1,000 more than Keldon levels, but less than the Dreadnought. 1.05 shield modifier, that's the lowest shield modifier of both of these ships. 4 forward weapons and 3 aft, that's the same as the Dreadnought. 1 commander tactical, so it's still a commander tactical type ship, so keep that in mind. 1 lieutenant engineering intel, 1 lieutenant science, and 1 lieutenant universal, and 1 lieutenant commander universal pilot. 5 tactical on this thing, 4 engineering, 2 science. So finally, this ship can actually do some damage with 5 tactical consoles. Plus 10 to weapon power, plus 5 to shield, and plus 5 to aux. It has the coordination protocol. It has 1 hangar bay. It can load dual cannons, but again, the turn rate on this is not going to be indicative of that, probably, most likely. 15 is better than the Dreadnought, but still, I don't know that I would. It has Starship Ability Package. You have the Starship trait called Tactical Analysis. So here's the console. The Enhanced Dominion Coordination Protocol allows you to execute the Fleet Maneuver Gamma ability, enhancing your team's damage, turn rate, and movement speed, as well as making them immune to placate, confuse, and maneuverability debuffs. The console provides a passive bonus to directed energy damage and critical severity. This console may be equipped, blah, blah, blah. So there's the console. Let's read about the trait. While this trait is slotted, activating Tactical Team will provide a boost to hull penetration for a short time. This buff does not stack. Oh, I like the sounds of that Starship trait. So basically, flat out hitting your Tactical Team will provide a boost to hull penetration. And everybody uses Tactical Team. You just have to have that on like every Starship build. So that is actually pretty good right there. This is one of those ships that may be purchased just to have the Starship trait. Because, you know, after you unlock the Starship trait, you can use Starship traits on any other Starship. I would love to have this Starship trait on all my Starships, so that every time I use Tactical Team, I get a boost to hull penetration. Now, it doesn't stack, but still, any boost to hull penetration is welcomed. That is kind of cool. I like that Starship trait. It's so easy and simple and just would work. I want that Starship trait now on my Starships. It looks like there's going to be a 3-piece set here. This 3-piece set includes the consoles from the Dreadnought carrier, the Jem'Hadar Heavy Escort carrier, and the Jem'Hadar Recon Strike Ship. With all 3 consoles combined, you get a 2- and 3-piece bonus out of these. The 2-piece bonus is accuracy and defense, and the 3-piece bonus is all damage. Outgoing weapon attacks no longer reduce the duration of Dominion defense screen, and also all damage. Plus all damage, it says. So that's interesting. Jem'Hadar hangar pets below. So we've got some Jem'Hadar fighters here. Obviously, we got the regular version, the dilithium version, and then the fleet version. And then we have Jem'Hadar attack ships as well. The EC version, or dilithium store version, or fleet version. And the fleet version of those are going to be, you know, the best for the hangar pets. Those are your hangar pets there. So that's what we got. Our 2 Dominion ships and 1 Cardassian ship. Now, again, similar to the Steamrunner bundle, why are they adding these updates to the Cardassian and the Dominion now? Why now? I always look at these things like maybe it's a foreshadowing. Maybe this is something that's coming in the future. Perhaps the future storyline we're about to get into deals with the Cardassians or the Dominions, or Starbase K-13, or who knows what. The Cardassians or Dominion could play a part in some future thing, and that's why we're seeing those ships being updated now. I don't know that that's true. I'm just speculating, but there's got to be a reason why they're updating the Steamrunner, and there's got to be a reason why they're giving us Tier 6 Cardassian and Dominion ships. Something is up. Maybe. I don't know. Could be reading a little more into that. There's really no other updates beyond that. Like I said, this was just going to be a small news update today. The big news is still Artifacts coming on October 25th. So, per usual, keep in mind when Artifacts comes on the 25th, I will dive into everything that's new about it. I will take a look at the new episode. I will take a look at the fleet holding, K-13. I will take a look at any story missions related to that. The visual updates, I'm going to do some videos maybe and slice them together to show what the game looks like before and after the lighting updates that are coming to the PC. I will also be doing a video in the future on the temporal reputation. That reputation's been out for a little while now, and I have been working on it in the background. Of course, it takes a while to work through those reputations, but I'm working on the tier 5 of that reputation right now. So once I unlock tier 5, then I'll make a video that goes through each tier of it to show you what type of gear can be purchased from that reputation and if it's useful. I've actually begun purchasing stuff from that reputation in terms of space gear, so I'm starting to get a feel for what the space gear from the temporal reputation has to offer, and in the future I'll get the ground stuff and figure that out as well. Also, each tier unlocks a story. You can go to DS9 and hear a log from the future, actually, and it kind of fleshes out the storyline a little bit better. And once I finish that, once I unlock tier 5, I'll have that in a video, and we will see what all of those stories are, all 5 of them. We'll go listen to all 5 of them and see what that storyline is. So that is some stuff to come. Also, I have finally upgraded my Ranger class TOS ship, tier 5 Ranger class, from the 23rd Century Starfleet faction. I've upgraded it all with the Terran Empire gear, space gear, and it is all updated with that and disruptors, and everything's Mark 14 on it. So I can finally do my video I've been wanting to do and show you how awesome this tier 5 Ranger class is at endgame. It is very capable. It's not a tier 6 ship, but it's a very capable tier 5 ship, and that's quite exciting. So I want to show you that, because it is actually pretty powerful for considering the fact it's just a tier 5 ship. Probably one of the most useful ships that I bought out of the package when I bought all the ships so far. The tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 ships didn't really impress me that much, but this one has impressed me the most out of all of them. So expect that video to come up. That'll be a lot of fun. And then anything else new that comes along, you know, I'm sure I will cover it. Well, that's pretty much all I got. We've kept this video under 30 minutes. That is very unusual for me. You guys know how I can make hours and hours and hours long videos. This is simply because I love it. But, you know, we kept this thing under 30 minutes. We're good. We're solid. That is a miracle in itself. Well, I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you for listening. And as always, stay tuned for the next one.